So we're going to look at present perfect tense verbs. Present perfect tense, which is typically called the conversational past tense. This is something you use a lot in German because you should be talking, you should be conversing. So when you're talking to people and you're talking about things that happen, like you're telling a story, um, you're going to be utilizing the conversational past. We're just going to focus on the regular verbs. Now, the regular verbs are typically verbs that follow a specific pattern, therefore, they follow a rule. Of course, there are some exceptions to this rule. So, after taking a look at this video about regular verbs, later on we'll look at irregular verbs, so the ones that have no real pattern and you just have to learn. So, basically, the first thing we should note is that there's sort of a pattern to what happens with regular verbs. The first thing that happens is when we say things in the present perfect tense, like I did buy a book, um, we have to have two verbs, right? If I say it in English, I did buy a book, we have did buy. So did is a helping verb, and buy is our main verb. That's the same thing that holds true in German. So haben for regular verbs, with a few exceptions we'll look at. Haben, the conjugation of that, is our helping verb. Then what we have is something that's called the past participle. Okay, so this is our past participle. Um, oops, and this is going to go ahead and go to the end of our clause or sentence. So the past participle is formed in German by using the prefix ge and then the RCS form, or basically the T form. For example, kaufen, ich kaufe, du kaufst, sie es kauft. So this becomes gekauft, and that's our past participle. So these two elements are required for conversational past. So let's look at this in practice, and this may help us a little bit. So using our verb kaufen, I currently have a present tense sentence. This is in the present tense. Ich kaufe meiner Mutter eine Handtasche. I buy my mom a purse. So present tense, right now. I buy it. I am buying it. But let's say I'm talking to a friend and I wanted to say, oh yeah, like I bought my mom a purse like yesterday. So we want to now take this tense. I'm going to go from present tense to past tense. So this is what needs to occur. The first thing is we need a helping verb. And that helping verb is going to take the conjugated verb position. The second thing that we need is we need a past participle of the main verb, which is kaufen, and that is going to now go to the end of the sentence, okay? So if we kind of think about that, we are now utilizing two things: the past participle at the end of the sentence and haben in the verb position. So how does that transpire? Let's just go ahead and leave some spaces, and I would go ahead and do the same. Oops. Right? So we have our two sort of elements where we're going to wait to figure out, okay, what exactly goes in these spaces. All right, so we want to say, I bought my mom a purse in German. So two spaces. So we want to basically say is I did buy my mom a purse. Also, I have bought my mom a purse. So that's that have form. So we need to conjugate haben to go with I. So if you recall, that is ich habe. Ja, ich habe, du hast, sie es hat. Wir haben, ihr habt, sie haben. So ich habe meiner Mutter eine Handtasche. All right, follow the pattern. Ge plus the RCS form. Ge Ich kaufe, du kaufst, sie es kauft. Oops, I'm not the best at drawing this with my mouse. Okay, so we have, ich habe meiner Mutter eine Handtasche gekauft. I have bought my mom a purse. And that is a typical pattern of regular verb um, conversational past. So verbs you should know, these are take the regular case. So basteln, brauchen, dauern, decken, glauben, stimmen, üben, wandern. I would write this one down. We're going to come back to why this is crazy in a second. Wohnen, wünschen. I forgot to type this one. Warten. Yeah. Warten, to wait. Lernen, machen, mähen, regnen, passen, meinen. I forgot. Write that in. Schmecken, schneien, spülen, staunen, schwenken, spielen, hoffen, hören. I'm just going to grab here. Jubeln, lächeln, kosten, holen, kaufen, reisen. Put some stars next to that one. Sagen, sammeln, schaffen, schicken, schenken. Now, wandern and reisen, this is where we have a new kind of thing we have to watch out for. These take sein, all right, and not haben as their helping verb, okay? So sein is the helping verb on those. And that's because typically, right, as we'll see with more with the irregulars, verbs of movement or direction take sein instead of haben. So traveling from one place to another, hiking from one location to another. So if I wanted to say, I have traveled to Germany, instead of saying ich habe, I have to conjugate sein as my helping verb. And then I have to put my past participle of reisen, oops, my past participle at the end of the clause. So, take a minute to conjugate that. Ich bin, du bist, sie, es ist, wir sind, ihr seid, sie sind, ich bin nach Deutschland gereist, right? So that's our, ich bin nach Deutschland gereist. So wandern and reisen are two regular ones that take sein. Now, there are some exceptions to the rule. First of all, verbs with inseparable prefixes don't get a get in front of them. I can't say, ich habe meinen Bruder besucht. Okay, that's wrong, 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 wrong. You can't have that. So it is simply, ich habe meinen Bruder besucht. So that's inseparable prefixes. And those are three of the most common ones. Another one is ge itself, like gewinnen, to win, or gehören, to belong to. The other ones that don't take a ge are the ieren verbs. So verbs that end in ieren, telefonieren, reparieren, gratulieren, studieren, und so weiter. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't say ich habe ich habe mein Auto repariert. That's weird. In German, that does not even sound right. Hurts my ears. So there's no ge. So to say I have repaired my car, you just say Ich habe mein Auto repariert. So go ahead and try your hand at these sentences. And when you are finished, go ahead and resume this video and check your answers. And so here are the answers. Ich habe ein Buch gekauft. Wir haben am Samstag getanzt. This one utilized besuchen, so don't forget this is no ge, so hat meine Freundin besucht. Fotografieren is an ihren, so no ge here. Was hast du fotografiert? Ich habe das immer gesagt und ihr habt den Tisch gedeckt. Danke.